MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football, breaking down SEC Media Days from Birmingham. Of course, you know the drill right here. The voice of college football will be all over it from the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC, and the Big 10 as they all go to the podium this week. And it's the Pac-12 on July 24th next week. All right. My take from Coach O's address there at the podium and what I heard from SEC Media Days pertaining to LSU in particular. Florida and Missouri also spoke with the media on Monday. We will have reports all week. We've got Alabama, Kentucky, Auburn, Florida, Georgia lined up already, and we'll, of course, cover the other conferences as well. All right, the main topic off the top was the spread offense. Coming to Baton Rouge, courtesy Joe Brady, who has been named the passing coordinator, moving over from the New Orleans Saints. He's also worked with a Joe Moorhead at Penn State. So a lot of spread the field, pick out the matchup, RPO, run-pass options, also pro-style concepts coming from Joe Brady to the LSU offense. Don't think crazy, throw it 70 times, air raid kind of concepts, not to that degree, but some of the concepts employed. But Coach O made it very clear. We are still a power football team. We're going to run the ball, and we've got to keep it mixed up at 50-50. But Joe Burrow is going to thrive in this offense because this is the offense he's played in his entire career, coming up from like 8th grade all the way through college. To a certain extent at Ohio State. They certainly had more concepts at Ohio State with Ryan Day in play there on the offensive side of the ball than they did previously at LSU. And just think of Joe Burrow's situation. Right now, he's played 13 games at LSU, and he's been able to develop his skills, get more comfortable with the terminology and the offense and the new offense through spring drills and summer individual workouts, and now he's got the complete month of August to get ready. This time last year, he was basically not even an LSU Tiger. He had to get ready simply by learning the offense, the terminology, learning his teammates, learning to go where to go to class during the month of August, and he opened against one of the best defenses in the country against Miami. So expect Joe Burrow at 58% completion percentage, 16 touchdowns, and 5 picks for those numbers to skyrocket. Even though he threw for more yardage last season than any LSU quarterback going back to Zach Mettenberger in 2013. And he had 2 marginally good wide receivers to work with in Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. All right. So Burrow's going to be in his comfort zone, and LSU certainly needs to upgrade the explosiveness of this offense to compete with Alabama. 12th in the SEC in yards per play last year is not going to cut it, and this is a team, of course, that came within 2 plays of going 12-1. They should have beat Texas A&M. They lost by 1 play. Of course, they lost that crazy 74-72 a zillion overtime game, and they also lost to Florida. They had a lead in the 4th quarter. They gave it up, and Joe Burrow threw a costly interception late in the game at midfield. So they lost by 2 plays. They could have been 12-1. But, of course, that other loss still would have kept them out of the SEC championship game, and that one was not by 1 play. That was 29-0, not even close against Alabama. So is that gap still this large? We shall see. All right. They bring back their top 6 receiving threats. Justin Jefferson, of course, the guy that's the most prolific at this point, 54 receptions, 6 touchdowns. But don't be surprised if one of these other guys steps up, especially in the form of like a Terrace Marshall, 5-star, who caught 12 passes last year. Vaughn Chase, a lot said of him and his recruiting ranking coming out of high school. He caught 23 passes last year for 3 touchdowns as a freshman, and also D. Anderson with 20 catches and 1 touchdown. Coach O said on the defensive side of the ball, this is the best secondary that I have seen as a coach, that I have coached myself in 35 years of football. You got cornerback Kristin Fulton. He was highly sought after. He's been a stud that we've talked about many times going back to his recruiting. Of course, you got Derek Stingley. Jacoby Stevens. Grant Delpit's one of the best players in the nation. I think Coach O actually pointed him out as, and he's a little bit biased, but the best defensive player in college football, Kerry Vincent as well. It's a loaded secondary, great secondary, the best secondary in college football, I believe. The starting linebackers are going to, of course, miss Devin White. Talk about one of the best defensive players in the country. He might have been it for 2018, 123 tackles, and he missed a game because of suspension. The first half of the Alabama game, the second half of the Mississippi State game. Okay, Michael Divinity Jr. comes back after 54 stops and 9.5 tackles for loss. Jacob Phillips, 87 tackles. Patrick Queen had 40 stops and 5 tackles for loss. And again, they tried to replace Devin White, and that's nearly impossible. But Coach O made it a point to say, we know who the 3 starting linebackers are. Here they are. Doesn't matter what happens in August camp. The defensive line has all 4 starters back. This is starting to convince me that LSU has a real shot at dethroning the Crimson Tide for the first time since 2011. Vaughn Chase, one of the best players in the SEC, almost missed the entirety of 2018 with a torn ACL and still had like 4.5 tackles for loss, and again, missed almost the entire season. Coach O said it today, he's the best pass rusher we have. He doesn't even really have a game track record of any kind of longevity, but he's just that good, that talented. Also up front, you got Rashard Lawrence with 54 tackles, 10 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. Glenn Logan chipped in with 45 stops as well, 5 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. Braden Finoco, he's also the starter. All 4 starters back at the defensive line position. Cole Tracy's going to be missed. They talked about him, 29 of 33 kicking field goals. LSU could be in some shootouts this year possibly, but the defense is still arguably the best in the SEC. The offense, will it take that leap? They couldn't score against Alabama last year. They go to Tuscaloosa this year. And is it going to be Texas A&M or LSU that will challenge the Tide, or still nobody for the first time since basically Auburn was the last team that really challenged and pushed Alabama in 2013, of course, in winning the division? All right, Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Just some of my thoughts and notes on taking in LSU's Media Day at the SEC Media Days. And again, we are covering Auburn, Kentucky, Florida, Georgia, and Alabama as well. At least that many schools in the SEC. I'll try to get to all of them, of course, and the Big 12, the Big 10, the Pac-12 next week, and the ACC as well, with the ACC kickoff coming up on Thursday and Friday right here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. We'll see you very soon.